Hey guys, we are on week 2 of our Living Like David series. Do you remember last week we spoke about how David had solid faith? That's our one stone for last week, was our solid faith. And so that's our solid foundation for the rest of our stones that we have for the rest of our series. And so we know that in the story of David and Goliath, David packed 5 stones inside his sling in order to face Goliath. But how many stones did he need to defeat him? That's it, only one. And so we are so excited to introduce another stone this week, which is called Take Courage. It's our courageous stone, which is so awesome because we see in David's story how courageous he was. And when we're talking about courage, we're talking about stepping out because we believe that God has got us. God will never leave us. He will never forsake us, which is exactly what we need. All right, last week with our story, we ended with David being chosen to be the new king of Israel, which was so exciting. He was chosen out of all of his brothers to be the new king. Even though he wasn't there, God knew that he still wanted David because he looked at his heart. That's exactly it. And so we're looking at our new passage today, which is from 1 Samuel 16, verse 14 to 23. And we're looking at how David was a courageous man. When King Saul, the Spirit of the Lord left him, and so it obviously went to David. And so King Saul was now distressed. He was panicked. He didn't know what to do. He couldn't sleep. He needed somebody to calm him down. So he said he needs a lyre player, which is like a harpist. You know, those big instruments, and then you play the strings. I obviously can't play that, but that is what he was looking for. He was looking for somebody who could play that instrument. And guess who he found that could play the instrument? That's it, David. This young man, another one of David's friends, told King Saul that I know a man. He is courageous. He is a man of war. He is a man who knows what he's saying. He understands everything, and God is with him. And so King Saul said, all right, I want that man. How cool is that? Is that David was a shepherd boy. He was doing his chores. He was chosen by Samuel. And now he found his way to the king because he could play an instrument. I think that is amazing. Not because he won a war, not because he was big and strong, but because God saw his heart and because he could play an instrument. I think that is amazing. David's story is one of my favorite stories. And so King Saul loved David like a son. He decided to choose him and told David's father, you know what, Jesse, David's going to come stay with me, and he's going to work in the castle with me, or wherever he was staying in his house. And so he would work there with him because he found favor in Saul's eyes because God was with him. Guys, the amazing thing about this story and what we can learn about David is that our second stone is courage. David, in whatever he did, whether it was herding the sheep, playing his instrument, fighting the giants, he did all of those things with great courage because he knew that God was with him. And so we don't have to fear. That's our giant this week. The giant may come in front of you and you think, oh, I'm afraid, but you don't have to be afraid. Jesus says, God tells us, do not be afraid. I am with you. Jesus says he will never leave you, guys. And that is awesome. So we need to take courage. We have courage. Awesome. So I want everybody at home to turn to the person next to you, or I want you to point to yourself and say, take courage. Take courage. I think that is awesome. So we're going to be courageous. All right. And so I want to challenge you guys that whenever you feel scared, or whenever you feel like you don't know what to do, or you're a little bit nervous to go back to school, I want you to know that God is with you all the time. So I want you to say this after me, okay? And you can say, I am courageous. Okay, I'm courageous. It's so contagious. Okay, people see you just like we see David, and we want to be courageous like you. Fear, you don't scare me. Fear, you don't scare me. There you go. Because my God is with me. That is awesome, guys. So we're going to say it again. I am courageous. It's so contagious. Fear, you don't scare me because my God is with me. Guys, know that we can be courageous together. Our first stone is solid faith, and our second stone is take courage.